please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Hi, yesterday I made a video titled How to End a Channel in One Easy Video ... because I'm the generation that likes ellipses. I was a little late to this one and should have done this over the weekend to maximise the potential of the topic, but also to ensure that if I uploaded it, there wouldn't be some kind of response. This hindsight is very important. It's very important because I keep on doing things like this. I've been doing it for nearly 9 years. Anniversary stream at the beginning of June. Now, why have I mentioned this? Because it turns out, while it is entirely possible to do this with one video on your channel, and I've seen it happen before in the past, with some channels that nearly hit 100,000, only to throw their weight behind race realism, lose all their subs, and get yeeted and undone. Some pictures came to light that, if you know who I'm talking about, you know what I'm referring to. Anyway, turns out with this channel of a much larger size, you need 2 videos. What you need to do is make an initial video saying goodbye to YouTube, and then because of the massive amount of downvotes you receive and comments basically flaying you for being money-grabbing grifters, you have to make an update video, which is where we're going today, folks. How exciting. I was going to make a video on Stardew Valley, not even joking. That can be tomorrow.
Hey everyone.
Hey, this doesn't look like television quality content. You like to drill that point home? I thought I'd resurface it, revisit it, electric boogaloo it, all of the above.
Last Friday we announced that we're leaving YouTube and launching our new streaming platform.
As one could tell from the comments in that video, it went down so well. It went down as well as I mentioned yesterday as React World. It goes down as well as anyone really that leaves the platform except for Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan though made his intentions very clear. He never tried to make it seem like anything else. You guys screwed up. You made your television quality content goodbye video worthy of its own original series on your streaming platform. You put a lot of effort into that, by the way, into a heartfelt goodbye, and I could tell, I'm sure everyone else could, but you made a minor error, a big minor error. So big it's no longer a minor error. It's almost catastrophic, to the point you lost close to 100,000 subscribers. Over the past 4 years, your channel has never been in the negative for subscriber growth, and your viewership has been fairly consistent between 5 and 20 million views a month. A level of intelligence was required to make those decisions. Which one of you's to blame? Come on, fess up.
We messed up.
Also, we're just going to skip over denial, anger, bargaining, and depression, are we? Fair enough. This video is going to be a lot shorter than I thought it would be.
A lot of you spoke out with extremely valid comments and concerns, and we want to take the time now to address those.
Ooh, the delivery of that though doesn't help. That was almost robotic. You got an auto cue? This should be fun. The concerns of, are you grifters? This could become denial and bargaining while using anger and depression underneath to patronize your audience. It may well be that the 5 stages of grief are applicable here.
We've been reading the things you've been saying, and we're sorry for the way we handled this, as well as the way we communicated it. We understand where you're coming from, and we're making immediate changes.
So I would assume, so as to not bleed too much money from the stones that is your audience, you are going to perhaps consider not immediately quitting YouTube and instead transitioning over a period of time. Because why leave immediately when you can build the audience there as well and make exclusive content there while still being present on YouTube? That would be a smart idea. In fact, that's what the Lotus Eaters do. I mentioned them yesterday. They make exclusive content on their site whilst also maintaining their presence on YouTube and Rumble. That's the smart thing to do. It wasn't what you guys did though, was it?
First, we want to affirm that you are the reason why we've been able to do anything at this company. You helped us every step of the way when we left BuzzFeed to start Watcher at the top of the pandemic in 2020.
You've supported us in so many ways by watching our content, attending our live shows, buying our merch, becoming members of our Patreon, and giving words of encouragement over the years. And we are incredibly grateful for your support.
I'm going to be that guy and say that while I can fully understand, appreciate the fluffing of the audience's ego to try and limit how annoyed they're going to be by reminding them of how important they are to you, it is a distraction from what you did. It really is. You can sugarcoat it all you like. We are all eternally grateful for the support we receive, but if you had an ulterior motive, your ulterior motive undoes the good of what they have done for you because you have crapped on them by saying, but we need more. Essentially that. And you guys did incredibly well from lockdown to present. I'm very jealous of that. I made this my full-time job because of lockdown and have never looked back, but never to the level of success you guys have. I never thought to myself that I'd turn this not only into a job but into its own streaming platform, create my own website, and then try and bleed more from my audience. I'm not that kind of grifter.
We're sorry for how we originally delivered our goodbye message to YouTube.
I'm not sure you want to be apologizing for how you said something, when what you said and what you intend to do are the real cause of the problem. You notice how I'm being pointlessly pedantic. Irritatingly, you are making me be that, as I have very little in the way of option when you are being pedantic yourself.
It was insensitive. We didn't properly express how much we appreciate all of you. And we did a really bad job of explaining the reasoning behind this transition.
A small part of me feels like we're treading into the territory of where gaslighting begins. You showed a lot of appreciation and gratitude for your audience. You really did. But that is a distraction from the reality of what you are actually trying to accomplish, that people just disagreed with. You are going to create a streaming platform, or are going to create a streaming platform, and you are going to put it behind a paywall, so a lot of the content people would want to watch on YouTube cannot be seen unless you have that, well, money paid up front.
We also want to deeply apologize for our ignorance around the impact of the cost. We regret stating and implying that it's a price that anybody can afford, and we fully acknowledge that it is not. We didn't take the proper consideration for how this cost would affect you, and hope you know that we are taking this as a serious learning experience.
Do expect an electric boogaloo then in a few years' time once this has quietened down and they're able to knuckle down, make some more videos and live under harsher climates for the time being, because it's so damn hard being a YouTuber. If it's not the social battery drain, it's the cost of making content. Maybe you should make more videos like this, save you money. Easy views as well.
With that in mind, we're making some changes to ensure that there's a way for our community to continue watching our content for free.
If you want to watch our shows early and ad-free, you can catch them on the Watcher platform a month earlier. After that, you'll be able to watch our shows on YouTube for free.
See, now that is actually quite smart. Early access, basically. Patreon do something similar. You don't need a whole platform for that, but you do you on that one. I'd much rather give people, patrons of mine, early access without the 1 month thing, because a lot of what I do needs to be covered in that moment. News commentary, social commentary. What you do, the spoopy stuff especially, can in fact be done with a reasonable gap. That's 100% fine, and the fact you never thought to do this in the first place is impressive.
For those that have already subscribed to the platform, we are so grateful for your support, but if this change has you rethinking your membership, we will issue a full refund. And all past episodes and series will remain available on YouTube.
I'll be honest, it's not my place to tell you how to manage your business. If I were in your position though, I would consider immediately refunding everyone regardless, going back to the drawing board and perhaps implementing those changes and starting afresh. But I don't run a business, I'm too much of a smeghead.
As for the question of why we decided to launch our own platform, when we started Watcher in 2020, we wanted to create shows that we were proud of, that we had ownership over, and that would provide you the caliber of content that we felt you deserved.
Yes, you told us this in the last video, with you dubbing it television quality content. I would argue television quality content is oxymoronic, because the majority of what you see on television these days is absolute shite. Which is why more and more people are going to social media. More and more people are clicking on videos you find on Twitter. The same with YouTube. The metrics are there, it's just the money is not as there. Much there. Kind of. You know what I mean. You rephrasing it is a turd polish method.
However, we were finding it harder and harder to stay relevant to advertisers and the constantly changing YouTube landscape.
Yes, we've all had to deal with this. It's called playing the game. The adpocalypse all those years ago, and subsequent adpocalypses, changes to terms of service because of the kowtowing of YouTube to advertisers meant that we, the creators, who are less important to YouTube, had to make necessary changes so that we could be relevant to advertisers. It does mean that what we want to make, what we enjoy making, sometimes has to go on the back burner to make the content that does resonate better with a larger audience, or resonate better with the advertisers, so that we can then insert the content we enjoy making the most. I spoke about this yesterday with what I enjoy making. This isn't overly complicated, you just seem to think yourself above it to an extent.
We faced some incredibly challenging decisions. We didn't want to compromise our content to ensure they met advertising requirements, and we definitely did not want to lay people off that have brought Watcher to life behind the scenes, and we didn't want to bring Watcher to a close.
I'll be honest, I don't think anyone would want any of that to happen. I don't want people to lose their jobs, but I'm acutely aware that if you work within the confines of the YouTube structure and you want to be bigger and greater, more in control and so on, you have to adapt. Which is why I yesterday mentioned alternative platforms to at least get passive views and income on alternative sites like Rumble. The terms of service aren't overly complicated, and you could in fact earn money from that as well. Any way to help yourselves, right? But, and I'm going to base it on what I know of your past, I don't think you'd consider Rumble a worthwhile endeavor to consider having your content auto-uploaded to, because you want to be in absolute control. That does imply a level of micromanaging, but that's a separate issue entirely, although it does explain some motivations.
Which would have happened if we stayed solely on YouTube.
That's why we decided to launch the platform, so that we as a company could continue, we could pay our staff fairly, and not only continue to make great content for you, but expand with new shows, new voices, all ad-free.
I feel like, while it's not my place to tell you how to run your business, a fair amount of the internet is going to want to tell you how to run your business. And references to "would you like fries with that" will undoubtedly crop up. This all feels like unnecessary woe be me commentary, because you can easily make this work if you choose to play your hand differently, or run with the thing you mentioned earlier of early access on Watcher and then a month later on YouTube, where you'll then continue to make additional money and be able to grow the Watcher platform. Smart move, right? It'd be equally smart, I guess, if you made additional content and made it exclusively on that site so people had a reason to go to your site. Because I'll be honest with you, even with that 1 month early access on Watcher, it's not really a huge reason to want to go and pay an extra bit of money to stream something, right? Exclusive content would be beneficial.
However, we realized that in figuring out the logistics of what this might take, we overlooked the way it would impact all of you. We hope you'll be patient with us through these mistakes, and we remain incredibly sorry that they were made in the first place.
Is this the part where we now start looking for P45s and profiles referencing your channel on LinkedIn? Because then we'll know who got fired. As far as apologies go so far, this isn't the worst one I've heard. We have heard vastly more terrible apologies. I'm still waiting on Jojo Siwa to apologize for ripping off someone else's song as if she's a trailblazer. I have no doubt in my mind she's going to be the biggest silly sausage you'll ever have heard in your entire life.
We also want to directly address our Patreon community, who have played such a key role in supporting us from the very beginning. All current Patreon members will receive a free subscription code to the platform. If you already purchased a subscription, please contact us and we will issue you a full refund.
Was that not already offered? If it wasn't already something you provided in the first place for patrons, I'm very impressed at how stupid you've been in handling this situation, because they should have gotten that up front in the first place. Obviously, they've been supporting you since the beginning, some have, so they would surely have that access and that right. I guess what we can infer from that is you desperately wanted them to all pay the same flat rate, some more than others, some less in fact, to guarantee a steady income. Well, that's not quite how streaming platforms work, it ebbs and flows, but you did believe yourselves a bit above it.
We look forward to continuing to make shows and introducing all the incredible things that we've got planned for the platform alongside YouTube. And in the meantime, we are forever grateful to all of the people who make up our community, and we hope that you consider joining us in this next chapter of our journey, whether that's on YouTube or on the platform.
No thank you. While I have no doubt in my mind you believe yourself to be heartwarming and sincere in your delivery, I have no interest in subscribing to an alternative streaming platform. I've got Spotify. I don't really want anything else. But we here on YouTube like to wish you all well in your future endeavors, and hope that while your audience now know you are grifting hacks, that you succeed in your grift, so you can really stick it to YouTube for forcing you to do this in the first place. It's entirely their fault that within 3 days you had to U-turn on your goodbye to YouTube.